This is my toy, unlike the toys that I normally review, which is usually for my kids. This is one of my passions, one of my loves. I'm not the most knowledgeable on bikes, but I know what I like. I like this bike. It's not the most expensive bike in the world. It's nowhere near. Bought it from Halfords. It's around about £600 mark. There is a new one that's just come out last week. The new version of this bike, or the whole range of Boardmans came out, which I have had a look, and I'm not as impressed as I thought I was going to be. They are very nice, but I do love this bike. Love the colour. It looks black. It is black, but it has like almost a shade of blue in it as well. It's a Boardman CX Comp, and a Boardman CX Comp basically is a cross bike. That means that it's a racing bike, hence it's got the curly handlebars there, and the brakes on the front here like that. But it's also got pretty wide tyres. So normally on a racer you'd expect the tyres to be probably half the size of that. So this means that I can ride along on the road at a good old pace, and then suddenly if I see a little track that I want to go along, I can go along a little track. I can keep up with mountain bikes on little tracks like that. Some places I can obviously go a little bit faster. When it gets a little bit too rough, then obviously they're going to take over. This bike's got cable discs front and rear. And my mountain bike that I also have has got hydraulic disc brakes, which are just a little bit more grabby, a little bit better on the rough ground. But on the road, these are perfectly ample. Most of the time on this sort of road bike, or on a road bike, you would have normal sort of cantilever brakes or brakes at the top here. Put a few extras on this bike which are not standard. First, with the pedals here, and the pedals that come with it, you basically put your foot into them, and it has a little cage over it, which I don't particularly like. But I have got shoes, specialist shoes, which clip into these. Now I actually go for, rather than the road bike type shoes, I actually go for mountain bike ones. But on the other side, it's got a flat side, so this is probably the sort of pedal you'd normally put on a mountain bike. So you can wear normal shoes or trainers on there, or you can have your mountain bike SBDs that clip into there. So you've got the best of both worlds with this particular pedal. I've also got lights on it which are probably better than your average light. They're not the top of the range, but they are really good high powered lights. I never used to think that it was worth it buying expensive lights. Since I've had these, I've changed my mind. These are absolutely amazing compared to your everyday lights. Probably a little bit flat. These actually charge up with mini USBs, and it has various little modes. So you've got, when you're driving on normal streets, you're probably on it a slightly less bright, but if you was driving or riding in a really dark area, like in the lanes or something like that, you'd want it on as bright as you could have it. Now with this particular bike, it's actually got brakes here, which is kind of unusual for a road bike. Now I find these really good, because it means I can sit upright a little bit more, and I'm still in control of the bike with having brakes there. A lot of people don't like that on this particular bike, but I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea. The gears that it has on it are Shimano Sora. Now, if you're not familiar with modern day racing bike gears, they used to be, in the old days, they used to be on the actual frame down here, and you used to have to pull the lever down and up on both sides, which was quite dangerous really, because it meant you was taking your hands off the handlebars just to change gear. But now the gears are on here, so you can actually click up and down as you're cycling, so you're not actually taking your hands away from the handlebars or the brakes. Really, really good, really, really comfortable. I've also got a Garmin. This is fantastic because it means that you can do your journey, you can see how fast you're going, you can change all the settings on the top, so you know exactly how long you've been riding, how fast, what your elevation is, all those sort of things. I have a heart rate monitor as well, which you can link to it by Ant Plus, I think it's called. It's on there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I have my speed, what time of day it is, and my heart rate. But also I can have other settings on there with outside temperature and all sorts of things. I'll turn that off. Rubbish bell. Also got a really good light on the back, which is again probably flat, because I haven't ridden this bike for quite some time. On the other side, sorry about that. Let's turn the bike around. It is quite light as well. It weighs about 11.5 kilos. But I have got a few extras on, so it's probably a little bit heavier than that. So on here, I've got a little pump. And my lock, obviously. I put my cage on. I put a nice black cage on just so it was a little bit more discreet. Now, I haven't got the setup quite right on the bike. Basically, I would normally have the seat just a little bit higher than that. The only thing is I've had quite a major, well, very major operation on my stomach. So I've got a big scar basically going all the way across the front of my stomach there. So it means I can't bend forward too much. So that's why I can't have the seat too high. So I haven't really got it in the right setting, which probably everyday sort of cyclist would have. It's comfortable for me. It's quite a fast bike. When I do go out, or when I have gone out riding, I've gone out riding with other people on their normal road bikes, and I've been able to keep up. So it's no slouch. So I'm very impressed with it. I love it to bits. It's a heck of a lot faster than my mountain bike. I've got a GT Aggressor, which is about 5 years old, so I'm thinking of changing that quite soon. I'm not really sure what I'm going to go for. I might go for another Boardman or something else. I don't know. I've been very pleased with this. It's been reliable up to now, although I haven't done many miles. It is a very good bike. I would recommend anybody to have a Boardman. And the service that I received from Halfords has been really, really good. A lot of people put Halfords down because they're not a bike specialist in a lot of people's eyes, whereas to me I think they're pretty good. The guys at my local Halfords are quite knowledgeable. I have gone in there occasionally and you know, I've spoken to some young kid that hasn't got a clue, doesn't understand anything about anything. But generally the main guys that are there all the time, they're really switched on and they can really give you some good advice on bikes. So I'm not the most technically minded when it comes down to bikes. But hopefully you've enjoyed my little video. I've got another couple of bikes which I might review at some point if anybody's interested. I've got a Rally Eclipse, which is a 27-year-old classic racing bike. I usually use that on my personal trainer, which I've recently bought. Saying that, I've only been on that once because I'm not that fit at the moment. It's a little bit difficult for me to get on it. And I've also got the mountain bike, which is a GT Aggressor. So I've got 3 bikes. This is the nicest one to ride. So hopefully you enjoyed my video. Please click like, subscribe. If you've got any advice, comments, if I've said anything wrong, sorry. As I say, I'm not the most technically minded when it comes down to bikes. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye.